Hello friends, welcome back for Tezos Technical Analysis with me, your friend Rocky Outcrop. In today's episode we'll be looking at Tezos versus the Bitcoin prices and of course Tezos versus the dollar prices, but I'm not going to go into great detail with the technical analysis because I feel that, I actually did watch a video today. I'll actually go through this process with you, in fact, just for a laugh. Now, nobody else really does daily technical analysis on Tezos, really. And the videos that you do see out there, they're from people who are not actual professional traders. And one thing that, if you wanted to get really bullish on the price, I suppose, of Tezos, would be to start seeing the people who are big names in the YouTube already take a look at it, and to see other people doing what I do, where they look at this as a daily, this is an asset, the other thing as well, a lot of people confuse what the word asset means. This is a coin which you actually can trade as part of your sort of daily trading and make money off of, as off the back as well, just knowing that in general this is a decent enough coin which has had a decent enough upward trend in general versus the Bitcoin prices over the last while, and it's good to, while I mean since over the last year or two, and it's a decent enough investment off the back of that. Having this in your portfolio is no bad thing, of course. So I think this is a legitimate project that could legitimately be traded, but nobody else is talking about this on YouTube at all. And if I go onto YouTube myself, that's kind of annoying. I'll just go to YouTube homepage, and then I were to type Tezos in here, and then I were to look and say filter it down to today. Sure. And then this is the sort of thing that we've got for Tezos. You don't really have daily crypto technical analysis coming in with anybody who's serious about this. It does it and has any sort of experience worth talking about at all, or talks about things in a serious way. What you do have is stuff like this.
Seeing bullishness, or you could see, bearishness. Yeah. So over time, we are going to see it. It's still a mystery, but for the moment, we will be eating the apples from our apple tree. All right, let's move on to Tezos against USD. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm saying.
So I try to be serious about trading, and I think that guy's great. He's really funny, he's really entertaining, and I appreciate that a lot of people probably view my videos as well because I like to be entertaining. At least I flatter myself by telling myself I'm entertaining. But we know that there's serious, and I've got absolutely great respect for him. He's a good guy. That guy's a really good guy. He does great work every day. It's just that anyway, like what we want to do is try and be serious about stuff, and I don't want to be sort of I want everybody to know that Tezos is a serious coin. I'm a serious person who trades for a living, and that that we actually do put effort into these things every day, and that we put a huge amount of effort really into these assessing these coins and doing the analysis on them. And there's a ton of value for us in doing that. What we've been looking at recently as well. If you're new to the family, by the way, thanks for joining us. I really appreciate it. I'm normally very upbeat in that, but I'm taking a sort of an emotional rest today, and I'm also wanting to very clearly demonstrate the inner attitude that you should have when trading. FOMO free, greed free, fairly emotionless. So I've got a bit of a monotonous voice today. I appreciate that. This is sort of an emotional experiment today. We've been talking about Tezos for the last few months, and we look at it every day and we analyze it, technical analysis. So here is the top here, here's a top here, that's a double top. What actually happens after these sorts of things quite often is you get a base in here, which could be considered to be, in the fullness of time, a cup, and then you get this thing down here where you get could be considered to be a handle, and so you get this thing which is called a cup with handle. Now this is speculative, and should the prices come back up to here where we saw our previous highs at, that line's way too curvy, but you get the point. Should the prices come up to where we saw our previous highs at, you'd be asking, are we getting a triple top, which could actually crash down the way, or are we seeing this cup with handle formation? And a cup with handle exists because you get people who come in and they get shaken out of the market when you see a double top happen and the price is going down the way, which is natural. And by shaking out the market, I mean various different ways. A lot of us, for instance, who were trading this daily, took profits in up this area and didn't wait for the prices to drop down below the 3,400 Satoshi price level, or whatever that is. We didn't wait for them to drop down below that, down to these lower levels. We were taking profits here and then waiting to see how things would turn out. The way to trade these things as well is to then wait for confirmation. When you come up to this sort of area, and you could see if we break past this area, a rise to the top side, and in which case you might be looking to add, to buy at this position here, which has an absurd emotional connection to it because read William O'Neill's book about what cup and handle is, and he'll explain it to you, so I don't have to. And if like I say, if you're an experienced trader, let me know down below in the comments down below. And I'm not a single ounce of my being in any way is disparaging towards people who don't have experience, because we all start somewhere, all of us, and that's what we're doing here. Though is we want to be professional about things, and to be able to do this for a living. So anyway, that's what we're looking at there with this. Could that be the case? And we want to see this turn around at the 50% retrace. That would be ideal. And failing that, this 618, and if we need to go down to 2,800 and touch the 50 simple, then we can cope with that in terms of this being a cup and handle formation. And after that, we can just look maybe towards bearish targets. There's a big consolidation area in around this period, as we know from April, which we lived through. So we can look towards that for a sort of general pivot area in terms of an inflection point in the market. And of course, going down, then your sort of shorting targets would be 2,600. Then after that, you'd be looking to short it down to 2,300 if that was the case. But that would be getting carried away ahead of ourselves, but that would put this overall structure into a more negative bearish stance, which is why then, of course, afterwards, when we talk about patterns, we talk about how it gives you the ability in hindsight to be able to explain to somebody else what really happened. So if somebody were to say to you in the future, and the prices go up above 3,816 satoshis, how did you think that could possibly happen? Well, then you would be able to explain that using the words cup with handle, and it would make sense. It's the part of I could only think of the word in Spanish there, unbelievably. The part of the dialect, I couldn't think of that in English. I could only think of the Spanish word for that, of trading. Let's go over to the dollar prices and take a look at where we are. And well, we know we've got this line here where we want to see the prices sustain themselves above that, and we want to see the prices going up above $3.20, so we can look towards the 236 Fibonacci retracement point here and undo that, as it invalidate that Fibonacci retracement that's there, and move towards the top side. And we can do various other things whenever we get there in terms of looking at other targets and stuff like that. We've got the 786 up here as well, which is a common retrace area. So this general area here of price action is going to be an interesting one, and that's again why we can have that exclamation mark sat there on the charts. We know that we've got this top side resistance at 290, let's call it, and we know that that's there, so that's an easy profit taking target if you're looking to do that. You can see as well, just by virtue of that line and where we are with this upward sloping line, that this is consolidating in this area, and that of course speaks for itself as a profit taking target. And I think as well, if I go down a time frame to something like the 4 hour, it might be easier to see it, I suppose, maybe in terms of the shape on a 12 hour. Depends on what sort of visual person you are. But although this is a small time frame thing and not big enough really to say that it's legitimate, if we come up to this area again here and sink back down again, if we then break through this area where we have the upward sloping trend line, and we're coming in here, and then we go past this, which you could consider to be a neckline, but it's obviously just your previous lows as well. Then you could be having a sort of head and shoulders type effect, and then you could look, without too much drama about things, you could look down to easily coming down and testing these moving averages having swapped over. And on the 12-hour time frame, you see that we've got the golden cross there on there. But now, of course, as well, we're still in golden cross conditions, so to speak, with this coin. fact, you know, if you were watching along with the series, you know that back over here, like it wasn't even on the charts. This 200 simple moving average, so it's never had in terms of the Coinbase chart. It's never actually had a any crosses. It's just been born in there. So you know, I was going to say that we're living in under golden cross sort of conditions. Well, you know, and we are, but it was big. It was sort of, you know, they've never touched. These two averages have never actually even touched, and I'd like to see that continue in the longer term. Of course, at some point in the future, we will see all this happen because this will mature as an asset over time. But I'd like to see that, like, you know, no further than that. Of course, if that was the case, that would be a topping pattern, and it would put in at least a temporary top there on these things. So I wouldn't want to see it sink past its previous lows at $2 really, you know, or like that. I wouldn't want to see that happen in 210, 215. Talk about that in every episode really. And as well, you know, just as a shout out to the guy who said recently that, you know, as if I didn't realize it myself, that this is a scam exchange. This is over in Hit BTC. You can see we were talking about this yesterday as well. Same sort of chat. If you want to see any sort of technical analysis really for Tezos, highly recommend you go and watch yesterday's video. I appreciate that people out there will be watching all sorts of different videos, but you know, actual technical analysis for actual professionals who actually want to do this as a living, whether you're a professional trader now yourself or not, but if you aspire to be, that's what we try to do on this channel here. And so go and watch yesterday's video really for all of what you need to know. And today's video is just the main takeaway really is be careful out there. And to have this emotional attitude whenever you're trading inside, you know. And I'm going to go back to being my usual self. It takes effort, like I say, it takes effort to be every day happy, smiley. You all know it, you know, like you all know it. Whether you're talking to your kids or whatever, you know that there's an emotional burden with going along there, even if that is truly just being yourself. You know that there is. So this is a bit of a relief to me today to just talk in a really somber way. It helps me burn out, but this is also taking a lot of effort, proactively having to do this. So, you know, I'll go back to doing the normal stuff tomorrow, but I just wanted to kind of throw this out there as a sort of an emotional thing, because I'm the only one that does technical analysis that's real on this coin every day. No offense, the other guys, well, he does real technical analysis, but he's really entertaining and he's fun to watch and he's a nice guy. And it's true, it's technical analysis, but you know, he just like looks at the chart and says, meh. Oh, there was one thing I wanted to point out. In his video, he said there was a big volume candle. Now I don't know what time frame he was looking at. I don't know what chart he was looking at, or what exchange he was looking at. I think it was a Bitcoin one. And he said that there was a big red candle. That's the weekly, it wasn't the weekly, 24 hour, 12 hour, what was he looking at? Anyway, if you guys out there like watching a lot of Tezos videos, you can watch that guy's video and tell me what candle it was he was talking about. There's a concept from trading, right? If you want to see somebody who you may, and absolutely, I have lots of respect for this guy, huge amounts. So I would respect, if I were you, I would objectively say to you, you know, as advice, respect him more than you respect me, because there's people out there who are very good at this sort of stuff. Peter Brandt, he talks about two types of volume. You know, you've got starting volume and stopping volume. The other guy in his video was talking about how there's a downward movement, and then he said that there's a really big volume candle here, sell volume candle. Now, there's two things you need to bear in mind, especially if you're new to trading, which is why, you know, it's like people get confused out there in the world. One thing is that just because this candle is red or green doesn't mean that it was entirely buying or selling. You know, for every buy there's a sell. So it just, these candles, the color of these candles is determined by the open and close price of the day. So theoretically, you know, it could have been that the prices dropped down with very low liquidity there and then were bought all the way back up, and the entire candle was buying action in a sense, with all the market trade orders going through being buys on the buy side rather than the sell side. And it could still end up being a big red candle. So, you know, these are the technicalities you need to be aware of. And as I said, Peter Brandt says there's stopping volume and starting volume. So if you're in a downward trend and the volume is just decreasing, and then suddenly you get a big candle, that doesn't necessarily mean, although it can be a big warning sign, that, you know, things are completely screwed at that point. It can often mean stopping volume, and more often than not, it means stopping volume than it does that, you know, or starting volume for something else, you know. We can see this candle is actually green today at the minute on the 2-day. It's red on the 24-hour chart. It's not a huge candle there, and that's a green candle. I don't know what he was talking about. You again watch the video, tell me, or let me know in the Discord or whatever. And anyway, yeah. So if you were to have a big candle there and had gone past a big inflection point in the market or something like that, and a big candle kicked in, then you could analyze that and put it into context and say, you know, that as we were consolidating in the run up to that period of time, for instance, you could say this, that then we consolidated, the volume dropped off in the run up to it, then the volume picked up back up again as we went past a key area in the market, for instance, you know, a pivot point or inflection point in the market. And then you'd be looking about this as being maybe starting volume to have a downward trend, you know, if that was the case. But in the likelihood is that it's probably more likely to be stopping volume if you've not done anything else to tie in with it at the time. Now that doesn't mean that I'm particularly bullish on this, and like I say, if you're trading the cup with handle on the bigger time frame, then you should be waiting to this area for confirmation. But down there in the small time frames, you can see this is a downward trend, low, low, low. MACD's got divergence on it. There's divergence there on the RSI as we're going in for these last two lows. It's come up here. This could be a higher low. This could be the first high. If prices turn around here and go past in terms of the 4 hour time frame 3,200, then I'd be looking at a test on the 4 hour time frame of the 50 simple and putting in a higher high on that. You know, that's the sort of thing. That's real technical analysis there. Useful stuff, proactive stuff. That's the sort of thing you should be doing at home with this inner voice. 3,000 operating as support for us is what we wanted to see. I'm going to tune out now. I recommend you watch yesterday's video and also watch the video that I linked to from TradeSpot. It's very, very good. Thank you very much. See you next time.